attention, please.
I think it is a good idea.
Dreams without goals.
People are getting fed up with corporate America.
I want you to get up, stand up, fight back, ask what you can do for your country.
Don't call it a comeback.
All right, cool. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Corner Launch. My name is Jeremy Griffin, broadcasting live from Startup Street at the Pod Shop. Startup Street, 3024 West Swan Avenue. Everything marketing in Tampa. Swing by if you need a hand with anything. Got my man Danny in the house.
Yes, the speed listener, because I have to be when you're around.
All right,
That's
good to
it.
go. Bringing the love. I'm not sure how lovey that was, but and then Andrew just joined us.
Ciao, buongiorno. How you doing?
Good, good, good. All right, we got today, guys. We got Mike Forte with Adapt Freshness coming in. Talk shop. How did he do it? What's going on? What has he learned? All that good stuff. How you doing this morning, Mike?
Good, Jeremy. How you doing, man?
Pretty
Thanks
good,
for
man.
having me.
Pretty good. So let's do this. This is what we do every time. Let's go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about what is Adapt Freshness, what do you guys do, all that, and then we'll kind of just jump into the fun stuff.
Cool.
You know,
Yeah.
the entrepreneurial journey and all that kind of
Absolutely.
rah-rah.
That is the fun stuff now.
It is the fun stuff.
Yeah. So Adapt Freshness is a acai smoothie juice bar in downtown Port Richey. We specialize in avocado toasts and acai bowls and smoothies and wellness shots and cold pressed juices, and we source everything locally. We pride ourselves in coming out to the farms of Tampa and Plant City and supporting all the growers, and
Love
we do
that.
multiple trips, and nothing artificial, no artificial sugars, no artificial products in the place at all. Very much about nature and art. I have the whole shop's full of different art from local artists, and the windows are painted, and there's plants everywhere. And
I love it.
even Christmas time, my business partner wouldn't let me get a fake Christmas tree because she's like, nothing fake in here. And I'm like, all right, fine, let's get a big real Christmas tree. And so that was fun too. So it's all about freshness. That's why I put the name. You know, you have to adapt in this world and in business for sure. And then we thought, what are we adapting exactly? You know, I didn't invent acai bowls. I didn't invent juice. What am I trying to bring to the market? It is the freshness. So I don't mind the early morning trips to the farms, things of that nature.
That's where you were this morning.
That's where I was this morning. That's where I'll probably be Monday morning if I can get through the weekend without running out of everything. But
there's a ton of different people that interact with them, and that's what it's really about. You know,
that's sort of the motto of downtown Port Richey. Is we only have one chain business there, and it's.
People are so sick of big box stores. I mean, they love the idea of that small town feel and somebody that's making everything fresh every day. Mm-hmm. And you go in there at lunch, man, and like I call them ahead of time, 15, 20 minutes ahead to get my stuff because they're just slammed.
It's that constant struggle that I think that the market goes back and forth with of I want the small and the custom and all that, but the convenience of the big ones, it's like everybody wants that.
Yeah, that's such a
But
struggle.
you know,
You're
the
right.
big guys have that convenience to offer. It's just hard to compete with that.
And the good thing is he's a former chef. So when he goes shopping and everything, he knows what he's looking for and what he's buying. In his business partner, Danielle, she is a nutritionist.
Okay.
So when you combine the two, you have just this unbelievable aspect of health and healthiness,
Right.
and freshness, and it's very, very cool. And I've been in there asking her certain things, or I've said something to her about health, and she's so informative and knows so much about it. It's very, very cool to have that aspect of it too.
100%.
And they also make what are the shots that you make?
Wellness shots.
Wellness shots.
Yeah.
So I mean, you put a little cayenne pepper in the wellness shots. I mean, you're just zipping after.
Yeah.
Have you seen Undercover Billionaire on Discovery?
No.
So that's a show. They basically drop people off in a city.
Oh,
Successful
I've heard of that
people.
one.
Yeah. That's what one of the ladies. She got dropped off, and she's trying to get this. The series is still going on, trying to get this wellness shot company going, and I had never really heard of that. So for people that are listening, it kind of what is that?
I mean, I don't know if I'd be interested to hear how she does a wellness shot only business. You know, this is one small aspect of my menu,
Right.
But it is, we take things like turmeric and things like ginger and lemon and these different combinations, and we juice a large amount of them into a small like density rich amount where I can give you a 2-ounce shot and it's almost the same nutrient level as a large juice.
Really?
And then we'll hit it with like cayenne pepper on top or black pepper to activate the turmeric. That's where my nutritionist business partner comes in.
Okay.
I didn't even know you needed black pepper to activate turmeric. So
I would never know that.
I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea.
It's Red
Right.
Bull without needing a paramedic. That's
Right.
And again, nothing artificial or anything. And I don't think I could survive on just selling those.
Right.
So that's why I'd be interested. I don't think, she's gonna be an undercover, she's not gonna make a billionaire
Right.
anytime soon on that.
Right.
But it's a fun aspect of it, to have. You order a couple of juices, you order a toast for the day or something, and then you grab a wellness shot, start your morning.
I love
We have
that.
4 of them. You can buy all 4, and we
What
kind
time do you guys open up in the morning?
8 o'clock,
8 o'clock.
and we close at 8 o'clock at night.
And what are the busy hours?
10 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And then 3 o'clock to close.
Till close.
Yeah, I get a nice little late crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the interesting thing, when it's cold out, he's a little slower because the people, they're not
Yeah.
thinking about smoothies. They're thinking
Sure.
about warmer drinks. But when it's warm out, he's rocking and rolling. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
we're a warm
unbelievable.
weather company for
it's,
sure.
It's just unbelievable. Now, Mike, you got this idea in California?
Yep.
Is that where you basically brought it from?
Yeah. So as a chef, I'm always coming up with restaurant concepts. Always building menus. Just kind of, if I have like a nerd aspect of my life, that's it. So I'll
Right.
just mess around with menus all day and just kind of think about things and then put it in my pocket and save
That's
it for
your
later.
creative outlet right
Yeah,
there.
if Jeremy came to me and said, "Hey, I always want to start a brunch restaurant," I could be like,
Right.
"Hey, you know what? I
Yeah.
got this thing. Let's try to find the money
Yeah.
and make it happen."
Yeah.
Make him out a check, Jeremy. Come on.
Right.
We'll
Yeah,
start
so-
right now.
So, Mike, you were talking about all these different ingredients and the ginger, turmeric, all that stuff.
Yep.
If I come in, what do you recommend me to get? The number one thing. What's your number one selling item?
Acai bowl for sure.
The acai
Yeah.
bowl, like the original.
Yeah,
kinda
the
looking one?
classic. The number one seller right now is the classic acai bowl.
Okay.
I have no clue what that is.
So there's a berry that grows in Brazil. And it's called acai berry, and it's high in nutrients. It's considered a superfood.
Okay.
It's an antioxidant. It's got all kinds of vitamins in it. It's amazing what this little berry has in it. I like to say that's probably why the Brazilian people are so good looking, because they grow up eating this stuff. you know?
Gotcha.
So there's a company in Brazil. They take that berry and they break it down and they freeze it, almost like they puree it and then freeze it into a bar. And they sell that all over the world. There's like one company that has that has like the rights to do this, and they sell it to everybody. So that's where we get it from. So first and foremost, most places they don't even use the real acai because it's easier to get the kind of cheap concentrates in America.
Gotcha.
We get our stuff shipped from Brazil, 100% acai. Take that, mix it with some other frozen fruits like strawberries, blueberries, banana, little almond milk to loosen it up, maybe a little coconut milk to loosen it up. And you create this smoothie consistency, but it's real thick, almost like ice cream consistency.
Okay.
You couldn't drink it out of a straw, a little thicker than that.
Really?
Put that into a bowl, and then top that with a bunch of good stuff: granola, dark chocolate, strawberries, blueberries, bananas, honey, and you eat it with a spoon. And we have different varieties of that.
Just completely healthy though.
Completely healthy, delicious. You don't want it to end. You're just eating it. It's one of those things where that's why I
Jeremy,
want to start a business.
you never had one? You've
No,
never had
I've
an
never-
acai
I-
bowl?
no.
Oh,
I
it's
mean-
game changer.
I
It's
mean, I
unbelievable.
shop at Sprouts. I eat like a caveman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's a lot of those little niche things.
Yep.
Because I just, I've been getting the same food basically.
But-
I get bananas and blueberries.
Do you remember what you were saying last week about like you don't really like to eat until like later on into the
Right.
afternoon? So okay, so acai is like the one exception of something like if I'm not gonna have a bacon, egg, and cheese, which they don't got it like great down here like back at home. That's the only thing I can like eat like in the morning that like will like be okay with my stomach and
Gotcha.
I can keep going. So that's like I will look into it. Check them out.
So you must
Definitely.
cringe.
I'll be
So
coming.
like what you're talking about there with that doesn't, and you probably cringe when you see this. Doesn't McDonald's have like that yogurt parfait where it's like it's the yogurt?
Yeah, it's
with
fucking
the
awful.
stuff? It's
Yeah,
awful,
yeah,
right?
yeah. McDonald's as a whole is fucking awful.
Yeah.
There's a.
Did you hear that, franchise owners?
Yeah, no, really.
They're awful.
No, really.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I will second. I support that opinion.
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I think we need to realize that. And I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not standing on a soapbox telling you not to eat. I'll have a
Right.
steak with the best of them. There's a big UFC fight this Saturday. I'll probably have some chicken wings while I'm watching that.
Okay.
Okay, but that's once on Saturday. That's a couple times a
not
month.
a daily-
It's
it's not
few
a way of
things,
life.
Right?
A
It's not a
chicken
way
wing
of life.
smoothie. That sounds good. Let's
No,
try
that
that.
sounds awful. But food can be amazing, and it's what fuels our bodies, and it can also be fucking poison.
Right.
And what these people are slinging out of these drive-through windows are poison.
Yeah.
And what a lot of these stores are selling in these boxes are poison. You know, it's not just because you don't drop dead immediately doesn't make it any less of a poison.
Listen,
Exactly.
if you want to know how much of a poison it is, just look at the obesity in the country, the diabetes,
Right. There you go.
diabetes
Yeah.
rate, the heart disease. It's unbelievable. It's
really
just-
bad.
It's
Yeah.
bad, and so many people are overweight. You know, because everything's fast food and they don't want to take the time. And the interesting thing is when you start to eat well, you feel so much better.
So much better.
It's incredible.
But that
Because I
touches-
know when I eat stuff and I put it in my body, if you really observe how you feel after you eat something day in and day out, you'll know what you're supposed to be eating and what you're not supposed to be
100%.
eating.
100%.
Yeah,
Your
no
body will
doubt.
talk to you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because you feel so bad when you eat.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
when
You
you eat bad
shouldn't
stuff.
be. A person shouldn't be stuffed and gassy and burping after they eat a meal. You're not. Your body's not supposed to feel that way. You know, you're not supposed to feel
Yeah.
sluggish and sleepy. And these, you know, that's your body shutting the fuck down. Your body's going, you know.
Jeremy's laughing because he has to go in the backyard after he gets through eating his meals.
Well, no, and we all do. Look,
Honey,
I
you ready
eat
to come
really
in
healthy,
yet?
bro.
No, right.
People don't usually assume that with me because, you know, sometimes they're just kind of, they assume that I don't. But, like, my God, as healthy as possibly can be. And I always tell people that it's amazing how many people can't correlate those two. Like, things aren't going right for them, you know? And it's like, well, if you are, it's essentially pissing in your own gas tank and then wondering why the car's not running well.
Yeah.
You know, it's, and it sounds simple, but it's,
Yeah,
you know.
but here's the problem. The biggest problem is we're addicted to all the shit they put in the foods. So the stuff that really tastes good is the worst stuff for you.
Yeah.
The stuff that really, it's comfort food, but it's really, really bad for you.
Yeah.
And they say if you want to really be healthy, you need to shop the perimeter of the supermarket.
Right. That's exactly right.
And you know, where all the veggies are, the meats,
Right.
the fish, all that stuff, not where all the processed foods are.
Yeah.
And those companies, those food companies, they spend a lot of money on scientists to make sure you're addicted to
Oh
it.
my God,
It's in their business plan.
it's in their
to make
business
you
plan.
addicted to it
Yeah.
and start you early.
No matter
You know,
how
there's a
bad-
reason why the McDonald's put toys in the bags, you know,
Right.
and a playground. They put a fucking playground at the restaurant. They want your
Yeah.
kid there all day, every day, eating that garbage. You know,
That's
There's
it.
Coca-Cola machines in every
I never even
school.
thought about that with a playground.
But
Yeah.
You know,
But
they-
it's
they-
a,
I could go in
it's
that
a-
playground, wreak some havoc.
It's a vicious circle though, because then it goes from the restaurants and the addiction to the drug companies and the doctors. So
Right.
then you go to the doctor, and the doctors, rather than fix the problem, they just say, "Here's a prescription. Go home and take this, take that." I mean,
that's a great segue into that because you're right. Nutrition can also be used to help illnesses. I mean, we don't need to be on all these prescription pills,
Right.
You know, you have inflammation, things like that. There's foods that can limit that inflammation, and it's probably food that started that inflammation in the first place,
Right.
You know,
that's a
and-
good point.
I have a friend that went to, well, it's Joanna actually. She went to the dermatologist yesterday, right? And she had a thyroid problem long ago, so had to take out, you know, a piece of her thyroid, and she's got to take medication, or you know, it would be a major problem, right? So he says, "Are you taking anything else?" And he goes, "No." He says, "Well, with your age and everything else," he says, "my average patient's on 5 to 6 different drugs." And she just looks at him and goes, "Really?" Like, you know, I couldn't even imagine that.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine. You know, all you do, you look at the shit on TV that they advertise, and the side effects alone should be enough to scare you away that you
would
would
think
never
so.
ever, you'd find a way to get healthy.
I think I'm the only person that hears that and is scared. Like, I think I'm the only. I always feel like I'm the only person that hears those side effects at the end of the commercial. I'm like, am I the only one hearing this shit? Like,
Right.
This is awful.
No, it's crazy.
Imagine if I told you, hey, come to Adapt Freshness, you get an acai bowl, but you're
Yeah.
gonna die, you're gonna be deaf.
Yeah,
you're
it
gonna
can
have all-
cause stroke, it can
Right.
cause renal failure, you know.
That's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I've been kind of alarmed by a lot of that for a long time. I don't know if do you remember March Against Monsanto?
No.
The movement thing from like 5-6 years ago. I was pretty involved in that and whatnot.
With the Roundup thing?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know, what goes on when you have just massive corporations controlling everything, you know. And
But here's the unbelievable thing. They've already paid out billions of dollars, but they still have it on the shelves and people are still using it.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's unreal.
Unreal.
Even
Yeah.
towns. The actual towns are still using that shit when they spray.
So
and
how-
how bad it is for dogs and shit like that too.
yeah, how long you been doing this for?
Adapt Freshness?
Yeah.
Just since September.
September.
6 months. Yeah,
6 months.
in. For that time of COVID, say from March to say July, August, my whole world was Adapt at that point. Is it going to happen? Can we? Are we
Yeah.
a vendor? What's going to happen? Oh, you know what? Now that I have the time, you know, let's change this up a little bit. Let's gear the menu towards immune system boosting a little bit more.
Smart.
You know, because just like everybody else, I'm watching on TV as
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
keeps tripping over themselves and making the wrong decisions, and not one person's talking about immune systems.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah, vitamin D, zinc.
Yeah.
Nobody's even mentioned these
No.
things.
No.
You got Krispy Kreme saying you can get a free donut now if you show them your vaccination shot papers.
Yeah.
Fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I
Good luck.
saw that. I saw somebody reposted that on their Instagram story, and I'm like, all right, like, sick. Enjoy your 99-cent donut.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Yeah,
So
here's one for you. Two women been running marathons for 30 plus years. They both decided to get vaccinated. One's a nurse. They're identical twin sisters. 5 weeks later, one of them ends up with unbelievable heart palpitations. Goes to her doctor, sends her immediately to a cardiologist, and now she's going to have to be on Coumadin the rest of her life. Healthy as unbelievable, but the vaccine is just throwing blood clots through her body like a laser show.
oh, that's definitely not
It's
good.
unreal.
Yeah.
So March though,
Yeah.
you were going to get going in March.
Yep.
The process leading up to that though,
Yep.
right? You were a chef. I
Yep.
mean, when did you make the decision? Like,
All right, so 2 years ago, living in Long Beach, California. There's my business partner now. She lived in the same apartment building I did, and there was a juice bar right down the street from us. I see lines out the door every day. Never went there though. California life, for anybody who doesn't know, if you're a working person in California, you spend most of your time working and in traffic. You know,
Yeah.
If you're a middle class working person, you're working most of the time. It's not beach. I lived a block away from the beach. I was hardly ever there, so I never actually stopped at this juice bar. But one day my business partner did, and she said, "You have to go try this thing, this acai bowl." And I was like, "What is it? I don't know. You know, I'll get around to it at some point." One day I'm having a bad day. She goes, "You have to go there right now." So I go there right then and there. She's like, because she knows, you know, I'm a stress eater. It's gonna make me feel
Right.
better, right? So I get down there, I eat it. I go, "What is this?" I go, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever eaten." I go, "It's cold, it's refreshing, it's delicious." And then she starts laying the health benefits on me. I'm like, well, you know, as a chef now, the alarms are going off.
Right.
I said, we have to create something, you know, and I want to put my own chef touch on it. Right. So when you come to Adapt Freshness, we layer flavors. We take pride in that. You know, there's nothing basic going on over there. And so we start developing this menu. Okay. Fast forward a few months. I'm ready to get up out of California because it's just a very stressful, not a happy life at all. And I get a chance to rent a beautiful house in Las Vegas. So I take that and I start trying to open my own restaurant in Las Vegas. I signed a lease. I get as far as the construction of the space, and that ends up tripling in price, and I can't afford it anymore. And that dream goes away. Luckily, they let me out of the lease, no problem.
Okay.
They were very
All right,
nice.
good. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't want to go to court and do all that. I said,
Right.
listen, and I hadn't made any alterations at that point except for like,
Right.
the floors. I made the floors better. I was like, if anything, I made your place better.
Right.
They were like, no problem, Mike. You know,
Well, that was
you
good.
be nice to people. They're nice to you, whatever. So anyway, in the meantime, my business partner moves to Port Richey, Florida. Now, my grandparents are from Port Richey, Florida. I spent a lot of time in Port Richey, Florida. She doesn't know that. I left Florida 15 years ago.
Nothing happens by accident.
Yeah, I know, isn't this? Yeah. So now I'm all bummed out in Las Vegas, you know, because my restaurant didn't work. I'm still working for other people.
right.
And then she calls me. She says, "I think I found the perfect place for Adapt." And I said, "Where are you?" And I didn't even know where she was. Like, "Where are you?" And she goes, "I'm in Port Richey, Florida." And I'm like, "Oh, get out of here. Really?" I'm like, that's crazy. I'm from there. You
Right.
know, like I remember that place, you know, and like, I don't know if that's exactly what we're looking for here. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I fly down here to check it out. And then I see what's going on in downtown, and I see the resurgence, and I see what the city council's doing over there. And I was able to, for the few days I was there, kind of notice like, okay, I see what's going on here. We wanted to put Adapt in an up and coming town. There's a lot of towns in America that have been ravaged for one reason or another,
Yep.
and some of them aren't coming back,
Right.
and some of them don't want to come back,
Yep.
and some of them do. Some of them want to be, you know, not to sound corny, but like a phoenix. They want to rise. They want to come
Right.
up. They want to try hard. And I said, downtown Port Richey's doing that. I told her, Danielle, I said, "You're right." I said, I was giving her a hard time. I go, "You're not right about a lot of stuff, but you're right about this," just joking around with her. And I said, "You're right. You nailed it." I go, "This is perfect." And I went right back to Vegas, called my landlord, said, "I'm out 30 days. Here you go, man." I said, I'm going. Packed up the Jeep, and within, not even wait 30 days, within like 2 weeks, I sold a bunch of stuff, and I just drove over here.
You did the cross country. How'd
the
you like the
cross-country.
cross country trip?
Oh, I loved it. I mean,
I've done that before.
Yeah, I did it fast too. I didn't, no hotels, nothing like that. Sleep on the side of the road, get back going again.
But I mean,
Cannonball run style. Let's
but,
go.
Yeah.
Hey, this is something we talk about all the time. He jumped in with both feet.
Yeah,
They just went for it, and it's been a blessing. You walk into their place, the color scheme is great. They have menu board. It's black, like a chalkboard, and everything's
chalkboard,
written on a chalkboard. It's like going into.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
like being in a little classroom.
That's cool.
You know? All
Yeah.
the little shit scribbled on there, but it's cool. It's so refreshing to see something that's so different.
Yeah.
And anybody out there listening or watching, if you want to open a business in Newport Richey, the benefits and what they're doing for people, I mean, Mike will tell you. What do they give you? The first 6 months free of rent or half the rent? Or
Well, the city, so Newport Richey, one thing downtown, one smart thing they did is offer a grant program.
Okay.
So you can come in, and if you do some heavy construction, they'll give you some money back for that. And
Gotcha.
They'll give you like 50% of your rent back for a few months. You
Cool.
know,
Which is
just incentives to
unbelievable when
bring
you think about it.
businesses in, and then it's worked.
Right.
And
I haven't been up there in a while.
you haven't been up there? Oh
No.
my God!
it's changed a lot. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they
And-
have Sims Park. You know the park right in the center?
No.
Okay, but the whole town's been like revitalized. People have done tons of construction and work on it. And then this developer built a huge complex of stores underneath and condos up above. Okay, and he actually had to sit on it for 4 years because everything went sideways and with what was going on. So, but he had the money to do it. They have an old antique hotel that's opening next year. That's really old, and they're restoring it to its original things. They're putting up Lynn University right on the corner of Main Street and 19.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right
Kaiser
there.
University.
So I mean, people are coming in, and it's just a really happening, cool place. They have concerts in the park, and they have
soon enough. Yeah.
movie night and all sorts of stuff.
Hopefully, it'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one
very cool.
thing that you know, COVID did was sort of hit a reset button on businesses. You know, nobody's above anybody anymore. Everybody's kind of even. And if you are a business owner that opened a business now, it wasn't by luck, and it wasn't by inheritance, and it wasn't some, you know, you have passionate people now
Right.
that are going, you know what, I lost my job at whatever company I was working
Yep.
for. It's time for me to work for my own, work for
Right.
myself. And so if you see an independent business, a family-owned business that's opened post-pandemic, if you will, you know, in the
Right.
last 6 months or so, you're probably going to get amazing service, amazing product,
Right.
you know, because these people actually care and they're not jaded. I got landscaping day today.
There's a giant bumblebee outside.
About once every 3 months, the city comes through.
Tell him to come back on Monday.
Mike, this apples and peanut butter toast here
Yeah,
looks unbelievable.
peanut apple crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, our toast became wildly popular.
Yeah.
I
I've
have
had
it all the
acai
time.
bowls before.
What do I
but
get?
the
I get
toast
the
haven't
I get
seen
the
like
beet
this.
sunflower, right?
Yeah, beetroot sunflower. we
Beetroot
do.
sunflower. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, we had one. We started the business with one avocado toast, one that I make at home.
Okay.
Pickled red onions, jalapeno
Yeah.
feta cheese, things
Get
like
him with
that.
the slingshot.
That's what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, and it got so popular that I was like, oh shit, we have to make more. And then
Yeah.
I created 4 more different varieties.
Now, are
Yeah.
you on his website right now?
Yeah,
He's on
I'm on his
Instagram.
Instagram. I'm
On his
looking at
Instagram. Do you have a website too, Mike?
Yeah. Adapt
Okay.
freshness.com.
these protein drinks look great too.
Yeah, I really
really
brought
do look good.
a chef's touch to
Yeah.
the juice bar industry. You know, in my opinion, my
Yeah,
humble
you did.
opinion.
You did. No, 100%.
Yeah.
It doesn't look
in
like
in my
regular
mind,
juice.
Yeah, in
It
my
looks
mind, it's like a 5-star restaurant. In my head, you know, the way I.
And it's really cool to really get to know local people on a different level. You know what I mean? You're not just walking in. It's almost like old school America. Everybody knows everybody by name, and it's kind of cool. You know.
Yep. And that's
And
what that's
it's really, it's a great thing.
we work hard on that too. We want, you know, like Danny was saying, we have everybody's business cards on our counter. Like I lose a lot of counter space just because I put these business cards out and they're always perfectly organized. And people say, why don't you just get a little holder for them or something? And I go, no, because these are actually here for a reason.
Right.
You know, people take, pride in knowing that, like, if you see a card on my counter, it's somebody we locally support.
Right.
You're going to get good service. Like,
Yep.
it brings the community together. They go, I know him, I know her, I know
Yep.
this person, and
No, that sense of community is so important.
Very important.
And that's, we've been lacking in that for so long.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's like
Well, especially now, I think since we're talking about startups and things of that nature right now, especially it's vitally important. I mean, it's almost, if you're not coming into a business, unless you have an online business, something like that. But if you're opening a brick and mortar and you're trying to sell, if you have a retail business, a restaurant business, anything like that, you better be associated with your community. We at Adapt Freshness, that was actually our marketing plan, so when we first opened, instead of marketing a big marketing campaign to bring in outside people, we decided to blossom where we were planted
Inside
and just
out.
start small and start with word of mouth.
Right.
And start with, handing out hand-to-hand stuff and
Yep.
just starting as
Go
small as
knock on
possible
doors
and then
meet
explode.
people. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, do you find it amazing that the big box stores still get away with the bullshit that they do? I mean, there's no customer service at all. I told you what happened to me at Publix, right?
Yeah.
I walked in to exchange something.
Yeah.
And she wanted to charge me $1.30 more because the package was open and it was bad. So I says $1.30 more. I'm just exchanging it. She says, well, it was on sale. Whoever bought this on sale, we bought it. It was bought like 2 hours earlier. She goes, well, I'll fix it for you. Just drop the attitude. I go, what?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be hard for local people to open a grocery store, so that business is gonna be around for a while. But otherwise, if a local independent person can open up a business in your market,
Yep.
you're in trouble because
Yeah.
that person's gonna care more. They're gonna have nuance ideas, and then eventually the big competitor that's jaded and give an attitude, they're gonna lose. They're gonna go away.
So, so between trying to get launched and then COVID comes and then September you get re-going and all that. I mean, what have you kind of learned along this journey about yourself, about business?
Yeah.
Because I know every year that goes by, I do the same thing, right? Where I write down what it is that I did.
Yep.
I write down what I learned. I write down, and it's all in a Google Drive folder. It's been going on for years now. I learned what I screwed up, and then I put my goals for the next year on there. And then the following year comes, I can look at the previous ones or whatnot. So, I mean, you never stop learning, you know,
100%.
and you always end up looking back.
100%.
Being like, God, I wish I had the perspective and the mindset I do now that I did then, preferably with previous levels of energy too, right? Because I've definitely started to notice you start getting older eventually, you know what I mean?
But you know something, one of the interesting things, the older you get and the more you experience, the more you try to make things fun. Like I think since this whole COVID thing happened, people are more relaxed. They're out walking. They're doing different things. They've reevaluated their lives completely, a lot of people. In business owners, small
that's
people,
retirement. You're supposed to have fun in retirement.
But no, like even with the show and doing the things you do.
Right.
You're much more relaxed because you've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
It's like putting an old pair of shoes on. You feel comfortable
True.
in them.
That's true.
And it's just so easy. It's so easy to have fun when at first you worry about, oh, how's it going to come out and all that. And then you realize all the worries that you have, everything always works out, you know?
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Mike, the other thing I wanted to ask you, what's your end goal? I mean, you had talked to me one time about maybe you want to franchise this concept or open more stores or
there's no end goal. The name of the company is Adapt, right? We always have to adapt. The market's always changing. You know, the end goal is to just hit our best potential, just to hit our highest potential, whatever that is. You know, if somebody wants to open up another one somewhere, that conversation can be had. If I'm going to open up somewhere, you know, but there's going to be nuance attached to it. There's going to be, you know, a different plan.
Yeah, it could look radically different in 5 years.
You never know. You never know what's going on. And I guess that's what, you know, you say, what have I learned? I kind of knew it coming into it, but you have to be ready for the changes. Let the market talk to you. I mean, there's things I started with on my menu that aren't there now, you know, just because for whatever reason they didn't work out. It's strategically on my end or on the customer's end. You know, the market will tell you what they're into and what they're not into. You know, like I was just saying before.
Is there anything that you thought was going to sell great? And it like was your own personal thing, and you were like, "This is gonna be the shit."
No.
And then it was like nobody really kind of took it because that's happened to me on a handful of occasions. Where I'm like, "No, this new thing is gonna be," and then people are like, "Well, it doesn't really make any sense because." Like,
not quite that. I had the opposite of that, where I had one thing that I didn't think was gonna be that popular, and it became wildly popular, and I had to expand on that.
Yeah.
And then that was the toast we were talking about,
Yeah.
and then I did strategically one thing didn't work where we were doing a Bananas Foster's chia seed pudding. So we make chia seed pudding from scratch, and then I was making a maple rum glaze from scratch, and I had a little burner on my counter, and I would heat the banana with the rum glaze, and then pour that on the chia seed pudding, you know, and it was delicious, and everybody loved it. One day, I turned the burner off, and I go to serve the chia seed pudding, and I smell something. And I turn around, and a plastic lid had fell on the burner. Now the burner's off, but it's still warm enough to melt the plastic. And I was like, all right, that's got to go. I got 16-year-olds working with me, 17-year-olds. I go, this is
Yeah.
And I'm the one that dropped the plastic. I go,
Right.
so I'm like,
I'll be
that's-
coming here tomorrow. There'll be no store.
Right. I'm like, so that's got to go. So I took that off the menu, not because it wasn't selling, but just strategically, it just was dangerous.
For safety
Yeah.
purposes.
And then expanded the toasts instead, because when, one thing you don't want to do in any industry is get boring. And so we had one avocado toast that was, there's just one I made personally. And when that got so popular fast, I said, okay, I got to make 4 or 5 more just to give people more options, just to keep it new, keep it going,
So
And-
I got a question for all you guys, okay? Because we are an entrepreneurial show. We showcase businesses, give marketing ideas. Why is it that Mike and people like Mike are so adaptable and open to change when other entrepreneurs, you go in, you give them great ideas. We give some people great ideas, and they just can't see the forest through the trees. They are set in their ways. This is how it has to be. And you know something? This is why his business is growing so much, because he listens to what the customers need, what they want, and what's happening in the marketplace.
Well, I can say with 100% certainty that I know why sometimes that happens on my end of things, and that's because everybody that's been in business for at least a little while has gotten somebody that's pitched them on some new thing and some idea or whatever, and it didn't work out, and probably didn't work out well at all.
Oh, so that's a bad.
And they've gotten
that's a
jaded, right?
bad
And it's the
feeling.
same thing when you're talking about a lot of different basic services, whether it's auto mechanics, contractors, marketers, lawyers, accountants. Everybody that's been in business has gotten burned by them, and auto mechanics is general population, but everybody's gotten burned at least once.
Yeah.
Some of us multiple times.
Yep.
So then you come in and you're a genuine guy, and you've got these ideas and whatnot, and you're like, you know.
but you're also selling in intangible. I'll tell you something. I just bought a tape gun deal. Okay, the tape gun comes with a roll of tape. Its packaging is unbelievable. It's on Amazon for $12. So I stopped at a place yesterday. Do you want to buy some of these? He's a storage guy, right? And he says, no, we already have some of the supplies. I said, but wouldn't you want to have this? I can give it to you at such a price. You could really sell tons of these, and everyone that's in here would buy one at the price you would have it at, and you make a lot of people happy. Have you ever thought about that? He looks at me, he says, I've told you 4 times no. You're pushy. I says, I said, I won't take no for an answer. I go, are you the owner? He says, no, I'm not. I says, could I have the owner's number, please? He says, no, you can't. I'm the one that shields him. I run the operation. You can't talk to him. I go, oh, my God. It was like a dictatorship.
Yeah,
But he
I
just
mean-
couldn't. So his tape gun was $14 just for the gun.
Yeah.
With no tape, and the tape was $6. That's $20-something, and I'm going to sell him these things with a roll of tape for $4. He could put them out $9.99, more than double his money, and everybody in the place would buy one.
Yeah.
Should I name the business? No.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that?
Ego is a motherfucker.
Right.
You have to. So it takes a little bit of ego to jump off the cliff with, not knowing if your parachute's going to open or not.
100%.
So there is some, you have to have some sort of an ego. But once you get into the business, once your business opens, you got to let that ego go, and you got to let the market speak to you.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean you have to listen to every wackadoo that comes out with an idea at you, or every Google review or something.
But if enough people are saying something.
If something just doesn't work, or if a deal comes to your face,
Right.
that and it's too good to pass up, don't pass it up, or at least
Right.
talk about it. Even if you do find the guy pushy or whatever, who
Right.
cares? Don't go have a drink with him. Don't go
Right.
hang out with him. Listen to what he has to say. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. Look at it. We're in, if it's good for your, you check all the boxes. Is it good for your customers? Is it something you're going to want? Is it the price good? Everything
Right.
good? If it checks all the boxes, it's a conversation worth having, whether you like the person or not.
Right.
Nobody's saying be his best friend.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite quotes on the show so far. If it makes dollars, it makes sense.
It makes sense. I mean, it's
I
cliche,
like
but
that.
it's
Right.
real. I mean,
I was working a trade show. I used to do trade shows. You've been to several trade shows, right? And this is
Tons of them.
I got my 2 booths set up, and I'm in the booth and I'm working. And this guy comes up and he's just got a golf shirt on, and he's you could tell he had money, had a Rolex on, and he looks at me. He says, "How come we're not selling to you? How come we're not buying from you?" I go, "Because your buyer's a fucking asshole." Just like that. He looked at me and he was like, "Oh my God, did you really just say that to me?" And he goes, well, what do you mean? I says, I called your buyer and offered them this unbelievable deal. So you know what he did? He hung up on me. He called the manufacturer. I got in a world of shit, and I almost lost my supply chain because your buyer tried to fuck me and told him, why aren't we buying these? Why can't we buy these direct? I says, first of all, and he had 152 stores. They did almost $300 million a year. I says, you can't buy every single deal, number one, and number two, you need guys like me that find these deals. I says, and he looked at me and he smiled. And he says, he says, kid, you got a lot of balls. He says, here's my card. Anytime you have a deal, you call me directly.
Yeah.
And I called him directly. We did a shitload of business together over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievable. That stuff happens all the time. So you got to go to the source, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I cut out a lot of the middlemen completely, and
Yeah.
Right.
But I also deal in that's also structurally built into my business plan to have the freshest food possible.
Going to the farmers markets and
I've had a lot of people,
and
even other market owners and things that say, hey, I'll deliver it to you for a decent price, and it probably, I get to sleep in a little bit more, preserve some of my energy a little bit more, but it's
then
I
you don't get to pick. Then you don't get to pick it out, right?
Yeah.
I got to know everything that's going into somebody's body. I got to know what I'm giving somebody is the best quality possible. With Adapt Freshness, some people go into business, they want to check one box or another box. Oh, I have the best prices, but their quality sucks.
Right.
Or their quality is amazing,
Right.
but their price is astronomical.
Right.
Or they have both of those, but their customer service is lame, and they're with Adapt we do our best to check every box. I want to have the freshest product, the best customer service, the nicest atmosphere at the best price. Our prices are the lowest of any of our competitors. And we do that because for a number of different reasons. One, I want people to know you can eat healthy at an affordable price. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be every day.
Right.
And
I appreciate hearing that.
Thank you. Yeah. And it just means I have to sell more than my competitors and more than everybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm open to that challenge.
Yeah.
I got into the business for that challenge.
Well, and it's a good way to come into the market too. I think a lot of people come into a market and they say, well, everybody else is charging this.
Yeah.
So I should charge that too. And it's like, it just has gotten, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing or whatnot, but it's just gotten lost on people that there is nothing wrong with, and it's actually a very good strategy to come in on the value side of things. I mean, it's just lost on so many people these days. I have that conversation with so many people. Well, this one's charging that, and blah, blah. They've been in business for 10 years.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And they're more than entitled to do whatever they want to do.
And look
what
at
are your margins
what are their
at,
demographics? Right.
Right.
I mean, what is the average, what is the median income of the families in your neighborhood?
Right.
If the median income of your households, the average person's $35,000, $40,000, you can't charge. All right, let's just say for me, I can't charge $15 for an acai.
Right.
It's just they just can't afford it. If you're in Manhattan,
Right.
maybe you can charge a little bit more.
What is the chain that was it last year or the year before? They went to a no tipping policy and paid all their waiters and waitresses $15 an hour, and that's what they do. You don't have to tip. I think it's Joe's Crab Shack or one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
the
don't
interesting thing, it's increased their business, I think, over 30%.
Okay.
Because that tip on a check that's $100, and you got to add another 20 or 30 bucks to it.
How the servers feel about
if you're
that.
bringing a feel,
Right.
they're making
I wonder
money.
how they feel.
They're making $15 an hour.
Yeah, that's not.
Some places the tips come out more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great for a server that can really sell.
Yeah.
Anytime a big rrestaurant would say, "Hey, we're taking your tips away," I'd be a little weary of that. I'd be
Yeah.
like, wait a second though,
Yeah.
because $15 an hour after taxes isn't that much money.
No. Good to go. So, for anybody that's interested in finding you, how do people find you? How do they get in contact with you? All that good stuff.
Find us on Instagram, Facebook under Adapt Freshness. Find me in downtown Port Richey, right there on Main Street. A lot of great small businesses down there. It's become very family friendly. Please get down there.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, spend the day. We have great restaurants, upstairs patios, and decks. We got this great park, and like I said, it's all small businesses. There's no pushy big businesses down there. So find us on Main Street, Port Richey, downtown Port Richey, Instagram, Facebook, Adapt Freshness. It will be me or my business partner interacting with you. We're very much about the
Gotcha.
community. And
And what's the website?
adaptfreshness.com.
Gotcha. Awesome. Awesome.
And the stuff is, so I go there every day. The stuff is unbelievable. Mike's unbelievable. His business partner's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just a pleasure. It's worth, folks, it's worth the trip. Whether you live an hour away, it's worth the trip. Sims Park's right next door. You can take your smoothie. The park's absolutely beautiful. There's 2 bodies of water there, 2 big ponds, and they put in gazebos. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got
just-
stand-up
it's a
paddleboarding
great
companies.
place to hang out.
Boating, and yeah.
There's millions of squirrels if you like to feed squirrels.
Yeah.
You know.
The dolphins swim by the park every day.
So,
you know,
bring,
yeah.
so bring your nuts and come down to Newport Richey and feed the squirrels. That's it.
Oh my
Awesome,
God.
my man. Well, I really appreciate you
Thanks,
coming
Jeremy.
on here. You know, until next time, guys, make sure you like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you.
You know, COVID made a lot of people move down here. So we got a lot of new people moving here. And they're not coming here to be bored. They want to come here and meet people and build community. You know, when you come to Adapt, everybody shakes hands. They don't know each other. Hey, how's it going? Or if I'm there, you're there, and there's other people, I'll go, hey, you guys met Andrew yet?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Andrew so-and-so.
Yeah, you know what's
get to know
nice?
people. And then
Yeah,
they'll invite
yeah,
you out on social media. Hey, want
You
to
know
go
what's
drink?
nice? Not everyone